What's up, party people?
Hey, come on now. It's episode 18. Let's turn it around. Would you rather? Why so serious? Big life questions getting mysterious. If you gotta choose, you gotta choose. No sitting on the fence, no time to lose. Truth or feelings, rich or broke, one wrong answer, that's the joke. Dream alone or fail with friends, how's your story gonna end? Would you rather pick a side? No safe answers, nowhere to hide. Think too hard, you'll lose your mind. Laugh a little, truth you'll find. With Doc J, with Coach C, and this might get awkward. Episode 18. Would you rather? Why so serious? Edition. Hit those mics on and let's get awkward.
Well, that was
Good
awkward.
evening. That was a little awkward, but I love it.
Good freaking evening, everybody. Episode 18. Doc J, can you believe? I know we say it every time, but can you believe we're at
I
18?
know.
It seems like we were just
I
born yesterday.
we were just born, not yesterday, but
Oh,
yeah, we're here, and we have viewers. We have people who want to get awkward with us.
no way.
It's
Sweet.
amazing.
It is amazing. Well,
It
tonight we're gonna
is.
get a little bit serious, right?
Yes, we
It's
are.
called Would You Rather? Why so serious?
Yeah,
Every time we
yeah,
say
we're
that, I
gonna.
imagine Heath Ledger as the Joker. And the
Yeah.
why so serious. So that's definitely awkward. But Doc
It
J,
is.
take it away.
All right. Well, welcome everybody, and hope you're having a great Friday evening. We
Ooh.
are gonna start off with, sometimes we talk about stuff that's funny and awkward, but we're gonna talk about some serious awkward stuff. And we want to hear from you, so please be putting things into the comment, even if we don't acknowledge it right away. We are watching and thankful for your comments. But let's get started off with this question. Would you
Mm.
rather? Would you rather lose past memories
Ooh.
or not be able to form new memories?
Ooh.
Would you rather? Yeah, it's a deep one.
That is a deep
And
one.
while you think about that, I want to tell you that there's actually a condition called anterograde amnesia.
Hmm.
Anterograde amnesia, which means you
Interesting.
can't form new memories, and it often impairs independence more than retrograde amnesia. I didn't even know there were so many forms of amnesia.
Wow.
But your identity draws heavily on memory and narratives, but daily functioning also needs that new encoding, and that's kind of serious if you have anterograde amnesia.
That's very interesting. What would you rather
Hmm.
have, Doc J? Would you rather have your past memories or not be able to make new memories or not have your past memories, be able to make new memories? What would you say?
I I think I would rather not form new ones. I I I know that sounds crazy, but I don't want to lose the past memories that I have because I know them already.
Hmm.
That's comfortable to me. Yeah. How
I
about you,
like that.
Coach C?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So for me, I think I'd rather. mm, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like, I'd like to some of the past memories. Not that I'd like to lose them, but like I moved around a lot as a kid. I moved right. I moved. I lived in New York. I moved right before my.
Mhm.
I moved to Chicago. I moved in the middle of my eighth grade year. Then I moved right before my senior year of high school. All around. So some of those memories, some of the memories of friends and stuff like that, I'd love to remember. Like I'd love to remember memories of family and my
Yeah.
grandparents and who have
Yeah.
passed and other things like that. But I also like kind of making new memories because I kind of like the life that I've got. Not that I didn't like my life before, but I kind of like what I've got
Mhm.
now. I'm actually doing more of the things that I really have wanted to do in life, and
Yeah.
have met people that I feel like are my circle, and I've got my kids who I'm selling on eBay, and aside from that, um, yeah, everything else is fantastic. So it's kind of a toss up for me. I don't want to lose those memories, but I love making new memories because the new memories just seem a little bit more of me,
Yeah. Um, that makes sense because who we are is a story, right? And how we
right?
live is learning. I mean, I can see it both ways. I think the first thing I think of with this one is one of my favorite movies, 50 First Dates. Um,
Oh yeah,
because that amnesia that she couldn't remember anything that happened each day, right? She would wake up and
yeah.
forget everything that happened, but she still had all those memories. So I think that's where my answer came from too. Um, was
I
kind of
like that.
thinking about how people around you could help you relearn what you're not remembering, but I don't know, you can't get back those past memories.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. Yeah. Um,
yeah. I love that movie too. One of my favorites. It's got Drew in there. How it can't be bad, right? And Adam Sandler, who's hysterical.
Drew and Adam. Woo! Yeah. Um, but I mean, in a serious note, when families experience, people who they love with dementia or a traumatic brain injury, they really have to really think about losing past memories versus forming new ones. So
Yeah.
it's something to consider, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's
Hmm.
that's a deep one for the night. That's definitely a more serious topic than we normally talk about.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely an hmm. Things that make you go right.
Hmm.
I like
All
that
right. What
one.
do you have for us?
Oh, let's see, what topic do I have right now? Going along with the world, we've talked about kind of friends and liking our lives and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
rather be respected but not liked,
Mm,
or be liked but not respected?
mm.
It's a tough one because it's, kind of goes a little bit hand in hand, but would you rather be respected but not liked, or liked but not respected at all?
I, from a professional standpoint, I think I would rather be respected and not liked, because, you're as in leadership positions that I've served in, you find that a lot, right? So I think I'm more comfortable with that. Um, I
I
think
like that.
I would struggle with not being respected, but liked. I think I would really struggle with that. How about you?
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like I'd rather be respected for who I am, for what I know, for how I help, and things
Uh-huh.
like that. As I've gotten older, I've realized, and this is going to sound a little bit callous, but like I don't care if people like me. I really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand completely that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Nor is anybody, everybody else. My cup of tea and some crumpets, Mary.
Right?
Muffy. But I realize I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So if you don't like me, that's fine. Just like some people, like there's a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but there are people that I like or that I respect, for what they do and who they are and where they've
Yes.
gotten to and
Yes.
stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I could, I don't like them one bit. Like it's one of those like
Mhm.
after work, school, whatever the case is, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna call them up, and be like, hey, you want to hang out? No, I don't like you like that. I respect you for how you've gotten and what you do. Um, but yeah, I feel like, and do you feel like, how do you feel about the world? Do you feel like the world is so, especially today, like today's generations, do you feel like they're more into like wanting to be liked and they have to be liked and they don't care about being respected, or do you feel the opposite way?
Absolutely. I feel that that's one of the larger, uh, little storm clouds that we have hanging over society these days is that, you know, everybody wants to be liked because they feel likability predicts promotion or predicts their resilience. And, I like to think that respect, it gets you the mic, but likability, yeah, you need that. You need some aspects of it to keep the
Hmm.
room listening, but unless you have the respect, you can lose likability the wrong thing, right? I think there's a
Oh,
forgiveness piece
100%.
that we tend to forget about when we look at respect versus being liked. And I've definitely seen uh, a lot of people in the workforce and younger generations as well that will change their thoughts, opinions, direction in a drop of a hat just to still be liked. And
Yeah.
yep, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Well, and if you look at the world today, like all the influencers and everybody else, they're so
Yeah.
hard up for people to like them. And if you look at like Facebook, for instance, everything's about liking comments, right? It's not about like the substance of it or anything like that. It's all about how many
Hmm.
followers you have and how many likes you. I mean, it's like cult like how people are today, and like so hell bent
It
on
is.
like me, like me, like me, as opposed to
Yeah.
like respect what I do. Because I can tell you, for me, I look at some of the influencers and some of these people out there, and they've got gobs of money, and I'm like, I don't
Hmm.
like. I mean, I respect the hustle and getting to that point,
Yeah.
but I'm also disappointed in the world for like giving these people that level, and
Hmm.
making them feel like everybody loves them and they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right.
But it's crazy too, because you've also seen, I don't know if you've ever seen in the news, and I didn't pull anything, but like seen a lot of influencers lately. There's been a
Hmm.
handful of them that have committed suicide. And things
Oh
have happened to
gosh.
them because, they're probably because they're not getting the likes or their follower count went down or whatever the case is. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Little
Yeah.
little bit, probably a little bit too in the weeds there, too deep, but you
No,
know,
I think it's a really good topic to we're just brushing on, and it could be a deeper topic to get into. It just made me think about, every so often I change my Facebook profile picture, but it almost makes me uncomfortable, like when people start commenting on it, because like I'm like I didn't post it for you to comment. I posted it because I like the picture. um and
right.
so like thank you for all the comments, but however, I think yes, like you're saying, I didn't do it for the likability, I did it because I like the picture. And I think that's a huge part that's wrong with society today is we're doing it to
Yeah.
get people to like us. And some of us that do it without even thinking about it get a little uncomfortable with it. I don't
Yeah.
know, that's maybe me. Yeah.
No, 100% agree. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, Doc J, you're up next. What do you got
Okay.
for us?
So you just you brought up money. So let's go down the money road.
Ooh.
Um so money without relationships versus relationships with money stress. So would you rather
Hmm.
have a lot of money and no solid relationships in your life, or would you rather have relationships but like all the money stress?
Ooh.
And knowing that social connection is one of the
Hmm.
strongest predictors of longevity and life satisfaction.
Hmm. What if so financial security, no meaning for the. I think I'd rather have the fulfilling relationships, but maybe
Mhm.
the money worries or the issues. Like I feel like you can always figure out a way, and having a
Mhm.
support system around
Ooh, I
you,
like
like
that.
for
Yeah.
me, having a support system around me to be able to talk about or like figure out ways to make money or be able to borrow money as opposed to, you could have all the money in the
Mhm.
world, but if you're a selfish prick, nobody might want to hang out with you. And then you grow old and lonely and you're sitting on your pile of money and there's nobody calling you, there's nobody liking your posts or whatever the case is. So I think for me,
Mhm.
I would prefer to have meaningful relationships like with the money stress, which I don't want any stress. I mean, stress sucks, but I'd
Yeah.
rather have that and have relationships and have a support system around me. But what about you?
Well, I think money without relationships screams Victor Venmo. Venmo Victor from if you remember
Yeah,
him from a couple
I do.
episodes back.
That bad guy.
But no, that guy. No, I think, that's pretty nature related to relationships is you're going to have stress and money is going to be
True.
one of them no matter what. And it's about how you how you
Okay.
handle it, like you shared, um, it can isolate you if
Yeah.
wealth, it's kind of like
Yeah.
Scrooge, or it can isolate you. And wealth has its own level of poverty. And, just
Mm,
as you were talking about the influencers, there's no amount of money
mm,
that can actually make them happy with themselves. It might buy
true.
them things for a short time, but the minute that money stops coming in, um, what do they have? What do they have? They don't have people around to support them. So, yeah, I would say
Yeah.
relationships with money stress, even though it's not the coolest thing ever. Um, I think that's why I probably chose like no new memories, because then I would just forget that there
Yeah.
is money stress.
I like it. What about anybody else out there? Anybody else that's watching? Anybody else that wants to put comments in there? Would you rather
Yeah.
have the money without the relationships, or relationships but have money stress? Throw some comments in. Let us know what you'd prefer. You've heard what we prefer, which
Hmm.
doesn't have to be the same as what you prefer, but would love to know. And we'll keep going. But if you want to throw those those comments in there, we'll take a look and see. So,
Yeah.
but
I think that's a whole other topic we could go down with, like money pressure, if it's tested or deepened relationships.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a whole nother rabbit hole, right? That
Whole
we
nother
could go
hole
down,
of the
but we won't.
rabbit.
All right, I've got one for you.
Okay.
So, would you rather always tell the truth, even if it causes harm, or protect others' feelings by occasionally lying? It also brings up, what do you do? Do you lie to protect others' feelings? So,
Hmm.
would you rather always tell the truth, even when it causes harm, or protect others' feelings by occasionally lying? Tell them that little white lie.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
Pontificate on that one for a moment.
I
What do you think you'd prefer?
I mean, being radically honest all the time wouldn't make you human. It would make you a robot. I
True.
think that there's a variety of ways that humans don't always stick to the absolute truth. And that could be for protection, like if they're in an abusive relationship, if there's some sort of harm that could happen, like I've had to have conversations with families or students before where the child needs to be hospitalized, and so you're kind of lying about what's
Mm,
going to
yeah.
happen to the child, and
Right.
so when I think about that, I like to think that I'm pretty honest and open, but I know that I've probably told some white lies or some smaller lies because of the movement that you need to do in relationships you know, with people. How about you?
Yeah. Um, I would love to say that I'd harm, but
Oh, oh, you're muted.
can you hear me now?
There you. Yes.
That was weird. My AirPod suddenly cut out. I would
Okay.
say so. Would I rather always tell? Yeah, I would love to say that I'd always rather tell the truth, even if it causes harm. But I know just from knowing people and the whole like psychology of things is that people can't handle the truth. And honestly, I mean, I get to the point where I don't want to I don't want to deal with what like the aftermath of it. So not that I
Yeah.
find myself lying, but I would say like occasionally
Yeah.
stretching the truth just to protect others' feelings. Um,
Yep.
just by the nature of knowing how human beings react, right? There's you never know. Like I know they say that you should, always tell the truth and blah 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 because you never know how people are going to react. But the if you've gotten so many reactions from people where
Yeah.
they've just reacted poorly to stuff, you're more apt to just kind of finesse the story or massage the story a little bit to make them feel better so that they're not feeling bad. And nobody wants to. I mean, I like to think that nobody likes to see somebody feel bad and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would also hope on the flip side though, if it's serious enough, even if it causes harm, that you've always got to tell the truth, even if somebody doesn't want to hear it, right? That's just my
Mhm.
my 2 cents on it, my thoughts.
No, yeah. I mean, trust relies on tact, and the line is harm minimization. And there's times where you maybe don't have the entire truth, but you try.
Right. Yeah,
I'm also a
you can only
terrible
try so
liar.
hard. Yeah,
I'm
I
a
don't
terrible liar.
I'm the same way. I'm like I would rather tell the truth and have somebody know,
Yeah.
and then have to try and work through it after. But I've also in my life seen people react extremely poorly to it, and you lose friends over it at times when they're like, "You're a liar. You
Yeah.
said this. You should have. You're not. That's not true." And then they find out. I've also had people come back months later, years later, to be like, "You were right. I should have listened to you." And it's like, well,
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
give you. Now the question is, do you give them a second chance? In that
Right.
instance, they come
Wow.
back, and you're like,
Hmm.
that could be a whole nother, again, a whole nother podcast topic.
It could. I mean, there are things that I think after sometimes I've been honestly truthful to a point where people felt I was brutal, and then you kind of back away from it. Like you just stop giving the absolute truth about something that you feel or something that
Right.
you want to get across as like a point or as a truth or as not just an opinion. And then you do pull back and you're like, oh yeah, I'm fine with it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works, right? People say
isn't
they
it?
want the truth. They don't show that they want the truth. But then when you don't tell the truth, then you get the shit end of the stick, right? So it's like you can't win for losing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true. All right. Put in the chat if you have any thoughts about white lies. There's a couple TV shows, right? Like Little White Lies or Little, I don't even
yeah, something like that.
remember right now.
I think there's a song called Little White Lies or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It sounds about right. We'll just go with that.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right, eh?
All right. So let's see here. Let's still keep in the truth, uh, area. Would you rather see painful truth versus being protected by ignorance? And
Ooh.
again, that's psychological flexibility. Seeing clearly without avoidance predicts well being, and positive illusions can also support resilience. But it's kind of something I was talking about. I think in
Huh.
the work that I do, sometimes I have to protect people by their own ignorance. Um, but I think in real life reality, I would rather have the painful truth and forge ahead.
Yeah. I think it's easier to, like, for me, I feel kind of the same way, is I'd rather have the truth and be able to formulate a plan to deal with it,
Hmm.
as opposed to not knowing and feeling like a fool when I finally find out, and then having
Yeah.
to, be kind of sent, I don't want to say reeling, but sent like pushed back, in life going,
Hmm.
shit, now I got to deal with this as low as everything else. And how did I not know? And who else knows? And, what do they think of me now? I think it just brings up a whole other psychological aspect to things where I'd rather just know it up front so I can deal with it and decide which course of action I want to take, as opposed to, be blissfully ignorant and where everybody else knows and are looking at you going, I know something you don't know, right?
So, yes, I agree because clarity hurts very briefly, even if it's a year or two. But
True.
denial taxes us forever. Now, one of the things that I can think about is people tried to tell me that my first marriage, I shouldn't have married that person. And they told me from before it even happened. And I didn't listen, even though it was a painful truth,
Hmm.
I couldn't hear them. So sometimes you protect yourself from the painful truth and you don't even hear it until after the fact, right?
Yeah. No, you don't. Is it now? Do you think it's because you don't want to hear it? Is it that blissful ignorance where you're in disbelief?
Hmm.
Like, is it like a conscious thing where you just don't want to? You're like, oh, I can't believe that it's not real. It's not this, or is it just the like subconsciously, like you're probably right, but
Mhm.
I don't want to believe that because then that means there's an adverse reaction to it. Like you, like with your marriage, like you said, or like relationships that we've been in. People will tell you
Mhm.
like, "Oh man, that person's not right for you. They're this, they're that, they're an asshole. And we're just like, no, you just don't know them that well. You don't know. But
Yeah.
there's a time in there when you're thinking like, there's got to be some truth to it. If many people are saying this stuff, like, there's got to be, and then you start seeing the red flags, and then you're like, you were right.
Yeah.
But is it
Yeah,
because
and
we just like
yeah.
choose to ignore it, or
I don't know. Because it's like you try to go back to that point in time and you're like, why didn't I listen? Like, okay, yeah. And it's not just myself. I mean, I'm just sharing my own,
yeah,
experience from 15 years ago, but I've seen friends go through it and family members. So sometimes I think it depends on if you're the teller of the painful truth or if you're the receiver of the painful truth, whether or not you're going to be protecting from ignorance or not. That's really deep. We're getting really deep on a Friday night.
well,
Feel
that's what
like
Friday nights are for, right?
Friday nights are for the bottom of the fry basket.
Bottom of the fry, the
I don't know.
crunchies that
The
live in that. Well, like
crunchy.
Doc J, thanks for bringing up something I can't have anymore. I appreciate that. Now I just want
I'm
fries.
sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so
It's all
sorry.
good.
But
You're
it's
all
the
good.
painful
No
truth.
worries.
You just have to hear
I appreciate that. Let's see. Would you rather always feel slightly dissatisfied with just everything in life, or would you rather experience extreme highs and extreme lows emotionally? So, would you rather be
it.
always feel slightly dissatisfied, not happy, not everything, but just slightly dissatisfied, or experience extreme highs and lows emotionally?
Wow.
I know. Again, deep on a
I
Friday.
I I don't like emotional extremes. So I don't think I would choose that. I don't like
Okay,
dissatisfaction either, but it's a part of the human experience.
true.
I've always wanted to choose peace and joy before anything else.
Okay,
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
I know
I
it's
like things that are steady and not like
no,
eruptive like fireworks. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not a roller coaster person.
Oh,
I'm
glad to
not
know
like
about.
razzle dazzle kind of like, manic episode type
Yeah,
person. And I think I know people like that in my life and I I just I can't live like that. Um
yeah,
so yeah, I would probably just rather choose constant slight dissatisfaction over emotional extremes and yeah,
yeah.
lighting the world on fire. How about you?
I'd rather feel slight dissatisfaction than the extreme highs and lows too. Like I don't know, the highs and lows just aren't for me. I mean, I like to keep a steady. I mean, you know me, I'm pretty even keel,
Mhm,
right? Try
mhm,
not to have extreme highs, extreme lows, and set unrealistic expectations and all that kind of stuff. But like, I feel like you can handle being slightly dissatisfied, knowing that it was okay, and probably find like a bright spot in there. Like maybe, but this is kind of but you know what? Hey, it was a good experience. Or hey, I'm glad I went. Or hey,
yeah.
I'm glad I learned that. As opposed to like, I'm happy, I'm sad. I'm happy, I'm sad. And kind of like you, I've known people like that. Like I've actually
Yes.
disassociated with people within my
Mhm,
lifetime just because like there's people I used to like at past jobs and things. I would eat lunch with them every day, and I just there's a point where I had to like I remember one person I had to disassociate with this person because I'm like every time we came to lunch, it was just like, oh, the world's ending. This sucks. That
mhm,
sucks. This sucks.
yeah,
And the worst part is this
mhm,
person had a shitload of money, had basically everything in life, had come from a privileged, household, and like had a nice, beautiful, like basically had everything in the world that like not a struggle, not a care in the world. But just every day was doom and gloom. And I had said something
yeah,
to this person. I was like, hey, like
you literally, I don't know if you looked at it, but you literally have everything in the world that anybody could ever want. You don't have to want for anything. You
Yeah.
don't have to need for anything. You don't have to like worry about like, hey, where's my next meal coming from? Or look at the bills and go, which one do I pay this month? You literally have everything, but you're still not happy. Like, what are you looking for in life? And I just remember that set off an argument between like three of us. So we were talking at lunch, and this person's like, "Well, you two are coming at me," and we're like, "No, we're just trying to understand like where the dissatisfaction comes
Right.
from.
Right.
Like you're always so just low. Like, and they didn't have extreme highs, which is, interesting because normally
Yeah.
people that have those, it's a roller coaster. They were just extremely low all the time. And it
Hmm.
was never really figured it out, but it's one of those I literally had to tell this person like, hey, just to let you know, like I can't eat lunch with you anymore. This isn't working for me. I can't do this. I can't
Hmm.
like. I get done with I get done talking to you, and I just want to kind of go on top of the building and just jump because it's
Oh my
just like
gosh.
just dreary every day. It's like the sky is falling, and then after lunch you got to go back to work and be like, hey, and I was in sales, so it's like I got to go sell. I got to talk to customers. I got to dial. I got 100 more phone calls to make. Where I go, makes you want to go back
Yeah.
to your desk and just be like, uh, you know. And that wasn't me. I'm like, I
Yeah.
didn't want that kind of life, and unfortunately, that
Hmm.
person and I never reconnected again. I'd seen the person a couple times throughout life, but I mean, it was one of those like, yeah, I'm like, I just have to disassociate because you were so extremely low all the time.
Yeah. Well, that is something I've experienced too. And I think as I get older, I really, really recognize how even having some slight dissatisfaction, like you said, you can find some of the positives in it, but it brings you back to the baseline, right? Like everybody's
Mm-hmm.
life has a baseline, and you determine your baseline. I fully believe that, and your baseline can alter over time, but you have to stay kind of in that arena. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to
Right.
burn yourself out,
Yeah.
trying to be someone else, seem like someone else, or always be expecting something else.
Yeah. Like they say, if you expect that something else, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, right? If you go into it with no
Yep.
expectations, then you set yourself to be even and be able to experience the highs
Yeah.
and lows, right? It's interesting. Wondering if anybody
Yeah.
out there has any thoughts to it,
Everybody's like, wow, this is deep thoughts
right?
by Jack Handy. No.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if you haven't yet grabbed a drink, if you're a drinker, go ahead and grab a drink. You're probably going to need it for this episode because we are going deep into some of the issues and talking about some of the things that people just don't talk about and communicate
yeah.
about. We know these are things that everybody feels at one point in time, but we're so afraid to socialize it and communicate it. We're communicating it. And Kelly Jones just caught us live. So Kelly Jones, shout out to you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Hopefully you've told some friends,
Yeah.
but appreciate you joining. Should we move on to our next topic, or you want to keep on going, Doc J?
I no, I think it's great. And those of you just joining, we're being awkward tonight, but it's on a serious level. Those awkward topics that people don't feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about
Um,
life, real life,
we're
real
talking
life.
about our
Yeah,
lives
real
and your lives.
awkward.
How about
There you
this
go.
one?
Ooh, I'm ready.
Would you rather? Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Would you
Dun, dun,
rather
dun.
stand alone for what's right
Ooh,
versus stay accepted? Like stay with the group
oh,
to be accepted.
ooh. This is tough because I mean, my personal opinion is that a lot of people kind of, hmm, they kind of like to go along with the group, right?
Yeah.
Not rock the boat, not be the person that stands out. They don't want to be that only person that has that opinion. um, ooh, yeah, I think, for me, I would rather stand up for what's right and what I believe in, even if
Hmm.
it kind of alienates me.
Hmm.
And I've been in that situation before, where it's not the popular opinion and people look at you and they're like, why would you want to do that? Why would you say that? Why would this? It's
Hmm.
kind of like being on a
Hmm.
jury, right? everybody else is guilty, guilty,
Yeah.
guilty, and you're the one person that's like not guilty, and everybody's like, oh, we're gonna be here for hours. That would be me, because I'd rather stand alone and like have it out there. Um, but I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of society is the, well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want anybody to look at me. I'm going to wait for everybody else to respond. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to chime in and be like, yeah, yeah, I believe that, or, and jump on board. Or if people aren't,
Yeah.
but I've also been around times where there's people that I've been around where if there's awkward, like I've been around some interesting people in life, and I've been around a couple of people that are, always have to chime in when there's silence. And they're like, well,
Yes.
if there's silence, I'm always going to chime in, but it's not always the right response. It's
Uh-huh.
So, but what about you? How do you feel?
Well, something you said made me think of, the age of Aquarius. We are in the age of I want to fit in.
Yeah.
No, I for sure have always, always, always been the one to stand alone for what's right. And it's definitely shifted me away from friendships, relationships, opportunities, jobs, because I I think authenticity and being true to your conscience is an expensive place to live, and I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to minimize that. So if I truly don't believe in something, if I feel something's unjust or something isn't following the law per se, I'm going to say no. And yeah, I've had people very irritated with me, angry with me, and I don't really care. And I'm not somebody like, Kelly Joan just shared she has the biggest mouth ever, and some people don't like her for it. I wouldn't say I have the biggest mouth ever, but I do walk away very, very much so if I don't feel aligned with something, and I don't really care what others are going to think if I do that, and that's just what makes me me. And I think it was harder to do when I was younger, because I think there's like some, a 10-year-old shouldn't act that way or a 15-year-old shouldn't act that way. But
Right.
I think now that, I'm in my upper ages,
Over 20s. Yeah.
it's more accepted to say absolutely not. Yeah, so that's my my roundabout. Yeah, Kelly, you do
Yes,
stand
yes,
up
you
for
do, Kelly.
people who are on chat. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
good
and it's
too.
also,
I mean, I support that.
yeah, and it's not just like standing up for people, right? It's standing up for what you believe in, standing up for what's
Yes.
right, or like being able to put your opinion out there. Like I remember, like you said, kind of when we were younger, if you weren't, especially like in social groups and things of that nature, like you wanted to be, again, wanted to be liked by people. So it was one of those like, well, I just want to fit in. It's in high school and everything else. It's such a hard time because you just want to not rock the boat, right? And as you get older, you're like, I don't care if like I just jumped off the Titanic, I'm sitting in a boat and I rock the hell out of it and we all freeze, like, Jack, come back. It's
totally
like,
could have fit on the door.
yeah, right. But you've gotta he sure could have. Selfish, I tell you. But it's this, rocking that boat, and it's just standing up for what you believe in. And if people don't like it, then I like those kind of situations just because I like the conversation and trying to understand when you mention something and people are like, well, I don't necessarily believe that. What I don't like is when people get super adversarial about it, because it's like it's like they say about assholes, right? Everybody has opinions. They're like assholes. So I try to respect others, but I do love to find out like where are people coming from, right? If you're standing up for something, you feel that passionate about it. Why? What are you finding? Because maybe I can learn something from you, right?
Sure.
But on the flip side, when I've asked that question, I've got people that get offended and they're like, well, why would you ask that question? It's just what I believe in, and you don't need to know. It's like, no, I'm just trying to understand, because maybe it'll change my perspective. Maybe I'm looking at things the wrong way.
Right.
But you can't reason with unreasonable people too. So
No, and for some, it's a telltale sign that they haven't ever felt truly like they fit in somewhere. They don't know their
Right.
true identity or self. And so they'll stay along or go along so that they can feel a sense of purpose. But in the end, it doesn't really
Yeah.
make you accepted. It doesn't pull you in.
No.
And again, it's whistleblowing or speaking up. It's a historical thing, and
Yeah.
hiding behind a group doesn't always. That's not always a pretty thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's life isn't pretty, right? And it's the imperfections that
No,
make us who we are, and how do we navigate around things, right?
that's right. So yeah, I would rather stand alone. That's my vote.
I like it. Stand alone. Yeah. Well, the good thing is, I think you would, even if you were standing alone initially, I don't think you'd have to stand alone too long because I think people would see a lot of the points and you'd probably find people meeting in the middle. Is at least that's what I hope. So
Yeah.
I like it. Well,
All
sticking
right.
around a similar ish theme,
Okay.
um, would you rather have, as we talk about life, full control over your future, or
Oh yeah.
would you removing all uncertainty, leaving your life open to chance and possibility? So would you rather have
Oh
full
wow.
control over your life where you control
Wow.
every aspect of it? You are the puppet master,
Mm.
or where it's removing all uncertainty, leaving no room for doubt, where you have full control over your future, and all possibility. Would you like to have that kind of control, or do you kind of like the unpredictability?
I like the unpredictability, leaving room for
Ooh.
chance. Um, because I feel that if you are constantly trying to control every aspect, every movement forward, you're not leaving room for things that could go in a different direction. Um, I'm on a movie kick tonight, but one of my
Hmm.
most favorite movies is Sliding Doors. I don't know if you've ever
Okay.
seen that with
Sliding
Gwyneth
doors.
Paltrow.
I don't think I've
Uh,
ever seen that one.
it's from the 90s, and it tells the story of whether or not if she got on the elevator or if she
Hmm.
missed the elevator. I mean, that's a age
Interesting.
old story, but the movie shows you two parallels, right? And what happens to her because she made the elevator and what happens to her because she missed the elevator. And
Hmm.
and I think that really shaped my understanding of leaving room for chance in life, because if you try to think that you have the course set, that your future is set and these are your plans, um, then you're just going to be an anxious human who who doesn't
True.
really, like, everything kind of fails around you because you're not open to drive or opportunity or what could become of just taking that opportunity and running with it even if it fails.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my
Hmm.
thought on it, and everyone
I
should
like it.
watch Sliding Doors.
Now we're gonna have to watch it. Sliding doors, people. Watch that.
Mhm.
Watch that. Maybe even in the chat we can put a link to it so people can go.
Okay.
Don't watch it during this
Yeah.
podcast. Wait till the podcast
No.
is over.
And
Make that
Gwyneth
about.
Paltrow, if you hear a shout out for that, let us
We're
know.
talking about you.
What do
Come
you
on.
what do you think? What do you think?
Um, I would not like to have there's some aspects of life I'd like to have more control over, but I do like leaving things up to chance because you never know what you're going to uncover, what you're going to learn, what you're going to happen upon, who you're going to meet. And I feel like a lot of movies, I'm just thinking back as you mentioned, like Sliding Doors. I think back to all kinds of romantic comedies and all kinds of different movies, and a lot of movie themes are based around the happenstance of chance, right? Of
Mhm,
just
mhm,
letting things naturally guide you, and there's signs and stuff like that that guide you to what you're looking to do, and there's a little bit of
mhm,
fate in there and stuff. So it's interesting how that plays into it because you don't run into a lot of movies or a lot of TV shows or anything like that where the media guides you to think that like the better thing to do is have every aspect of your life controlled.
mhm.
When I think of like control and stuff like that, or having like full control over your destiny or whatever the case might be, I think of like the British royal family, right? you look at everything that goes on in their lives, and everything is guided by
Yeah.
like, well, you must do this, you have to do this. Like they know every step of what's going to happen, except if you're Prince Harry, then you're, all over the place and things are crazy with your life and you're, kicked out of the royal family. But if you're like, you look at Prince William and everybody else, they're just, it's so, everything's decided for what you can do, can't do, what you can wear, what you can do this. I like being able to have that free will to be like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do, wear what I want to wear. And if you don't like it, oh, well. But it also, gives you a chance to fall into what you want to do. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
interesting.
agree.
But I'm sure
Yeah.
culturally, there's probably some cultural aspects in there too. Because,
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
lot of cultures where from birth, you're guided into certain, into marriage, into certain careers, into certain like,
Mm-hmm.
love to know if anybody's out there has been in that situation, knows people in that situation, would love to know how does that feel?
Yeah.
Having your life guided and knowing what's
Yeah.
happening, knowing what's coming next, as opposed to just being completely free. Apparently we're hippies here, Doc J. We're just guided by the wind, we're at Woodstock here.
I mean, yeah. I think there's elements though of control that are in your life regardless, no matter how hippie you want to be or hug a tree. Like, public education. That's controlling what you learn, how you learn it, when
Yeah.
you learn it. And then all of a sudden you have an opportunity for chance, right? Like you graduate and
Right.
it's like, okay, go choose what you want to do after you've had that full control. And I'm not saying public education is like the royal family, but it kind of is in the sense that
Yeah.
you have to follow a prescription of
Right.
everything they need you to do. But so control builds foundations for people, but chance builds skylights. Chance
Ooh.
breaks the glass ceiling. I know,
I
I'm
like
a poet. And
you
so
knew it.
I do think that there's elements of it that are generational, that are societal, that are cultural. But I would choose leaving room for chance 100%. And that's why I didn't really go to school when I was younger, because I liked to be outside climbing trees.
Again, hippie. You were just dancing in the wind, doing a little rain dance, the trees and the leaves, just okay. Hey, whatever fits it, whatever works for you.
Oh, all right. So based on that, let's go to this one, because this definitely is something I think people talk about in their life. Would you rather be remembered for your achievements or how you made people feel?
Ooh.
Achievement or how you made people feel?
What do you, Doc J? I'm gonna lean on you for this, knowing me as well as you do. What do you think my answer would be?
How you made people feel?
Yes. Woo! It's funny, when I was younger, like achievements were the thing, right? I wanted the title. I wanted to be a manager. I want to be a director. I want to be a VP. I want to do this. I want to do all this stuff. And as I got older, like, even now people are like, would you want to be a VP? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, it doesn't matter that much to me. I'd rather be remembered for how I make people feel, and then hopefully it's making people feel good, not being remembered for, oh, you made people feel like shit. Yeah, it's a successful life. No, but more so like, because I think for me, that's what leaves people with a lasting memory, right? That's what I want people to walk away and be like, oh my gosh, like for instance, the other day we went to a softball tryout. And at that softball tryout, I saw a guy that I went to high school with over 20 plus years ago.
wow.
Actually, over 30 plus years ago. And I was like, Tommy? And he looked around. He's like, what? Who? And he looked at me. He's like, holy shit. He's like, Colosi? So, and we caught up for a minute. He's like, yeah. He's like, we always had so much fun together and this stuff. And he's like, oh, here's my daughter, blah, blah, is your daughter out there? And we just kind of reminisce. But he's like, yeah, man. He's like, oh, it's great running into you. You always made me feel welcome. Always made me feel that. I'm like, see, like that warmed my heart to be like, all right, we haven't seen each other probably in 20 years. It's been that long. But still, remembered how I made people feel around me. Not about didn't even ask what are you doing now? What are you doing for work? Or what title are you? That kind of stuff. Like cool conversation. So that's
Neat.
my long ass winded answer to
Aw.
that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can guess you too, Doc J.
Oh, you
You would
can.
rather, yes, you would rather be remembered for how you made people feel.
Yeah. I definitely, that is for sure the truth. And good job.
Yay, me!
I I think that it that has that has been something that has really been hard for me in working in the field I work in and the various positions to keep rising to is because I didn't care so much about the title. I cared about helping the people. And there comes a point in time where yes, you just you don't care about the achievement, or that's not, nobody cares what I'm doing or
Right?
what I'm saying. um and I don't, I when I was younger, I used to do a lot of research projects on Walt Disney. Like, I maybe people have opinions or not, but I truly would read about and think about the reason for his, he wasn't making something to be a big name in the world. He made it to make a safe place for families uh in Disneyland that was clean and safe, because a lot of the places to take his family and his kids weren't clean and they weren't safe.
Hmm.
And that is what he wanted people to feel. And so while he's remembered for his achievements, he didn't set out to be this like Mongol of, what
Wow.
is now Walt Disney, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's how he made people feel. And I always keep that close to my like heart when
Hmm.
when I'm doing things and projects and all the things that I do. Just remembering that sometimes you get remembered for your achievements, but it's how it's that background of why did those achievements come to fruition that sometimes people don't
Right.
know. It's how you made people feel.
Yeah. But a lot of times
Yeah.
too, I mean, people won't remember what you did, right?
No.
They won't remember that
No.
you got the Nobel Peace Prize, that you wrote a novel, that you wrote a book or wrote this. How many times
Mhm.
have you asked people like, "Oh, you remember when I did this?" And they're like, "You did? Shoot, I don't remember that." Right?
Mhm.
Your achievements don't. I mean, your achievements probably mean more to you, like from a personal
Yes.
basis and
Yeah.
like a mental basis, just as like it's one of your success signs, right? To know what good looks like is, hey, I want
Mhm.
to accomplish this, I want to do this, and you do that, but like you know, yeah, how you'll be remembered. Like any, as morbid as it might sound, any funeral that I've been to of friends, family, whatever the case is, you can always tell how people made other people feel, as weird as that sounds, by the number of people that you've seen there. Like
Yeah.
I had a former boss that he unfortunately passed away. He was out walking the dog and had an aneurysm. He was about my age, and he just
Mhm.
passed away. But at the funeral, I've never seen so many people from
Mhm.
past jobs, past lives, past, everything that he'd touched at his
Mhm.
funeral. Like it was just amazing how crowded, like the church for the reception and stuff like that was absolutely packed. It was standing room only. Like just amazing. And all people kept talking about is how he touched them, how he made them feel, how he made them feel like wanted, loved, liked, that they did a great
Mhm.
job. He always wanted to make people feel good. And it's pretty crazy when you look at that.
Yeah.
Just kind of shows you a little bit more of what's important. Like nobody remember that he was, oh yeah, he was VP of sales here and VP of sales here, and he started up this. There was no talk of that whatsoever. It was, how did you know Jim? Oh, this, oh, and even my answer was like he always made you feel like you were
Well,
the only person in the room, like
yeah,
you were the guy, you were the gal, whatever it was. So it's really really freaking cool.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah, I've had the same kind of experience at memorials and such. We're actually attending one tomorrow for somebody that we
Mm.
went to high school with, and the amount of how many people are just commenting on the way that his smile would just light up a room and light up someone's day. And
Mm.
that's completely true, no matter how close you were or if you were just a passerby. The
Yeah.
amount of people that are going to be showing up is incredible. And it's how this person treated others, you know, and everybody has their own story, but yeah, definitely
It's amazing.
would want to be remembered for how I made people feel.
No, I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, I know
Yeah.
we're running out of time there, Jack J. We've only got a couple
We
minutes
are.
left. Next week, folks, we're going to give you the week off. Feel free to take some time to yourself. Have a little thing we like to call the 4th of July. You know, celebrate with family, with friends, enjoy, reflect on the things that we've talked about tonight. We definitely didn't even probably get to a quarter of the topics that we have on today's list, but, you know, appreciate everybody joining us. And just really, you know, just allowing us to have a little bit more of a serious night.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
It
you
was
need to have
good.
these conversations, right?
You
Hopefully it
do.
made everybody
And
out there feel good to get some of these
or
things
it
off
made
our
them
chest and
think.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think a
absolutely.
little bit more too. I'm going to put a link to our landing page here in the chat. Please, please, please visit us, follow us on our socials.
Absolutely.
Pulled
And if
up
you
right
can
now.
pass it on to friends and family, please. We'd love to kind of spread this throughout the world. Our podcast is getting more reach out there, which is fantastic. More people are following every day. More people are watching it on the back end that we've seen too, and giving us comments and things like that. So it's pretty cool how this has taken off. So thank you, everybody. But please keep on sharing it. If you've enjoyed what you're hearing, what you're seeing, the topics that we're talking about, we've got a ton more topics that we're going to be talking about on all the upcoming episodes. But we will take next week off.
Next week is off. What are we talking about when we return?
So in episode 19, we're going to talk about everything, something we touched on a little bit tonight. But we're going to talk about everything influencers, podcasters. Yes, we'll talk about ourselves too. And Instagram life coaches, because we know there's a lot of false gurus out there, a lot of just people trying to make money any way they can and doing things that, you know, their mother probably wouldn't approve of and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about in episode 19, which will be in 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can't wait to learn more from you about it, because you know a lot more about that than I do. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's a seedy world out there, but yes, we will chat all about that. But until next time, folks, stay awkward.
That was awkward.
It's really awkward.
Life doesn't come with a script, and that's what makes it interesting.
Click on the link.
Real life, real
Follow
life, real